Hey everyone, we're back with another episode of Crossroads of a CDL Driver. It's Jeff, and I got my sidekick Jesse with me now, so it's not just me up here. So we're just gonna kind of just dig in and kind of hopefully um, be able to keep you guys interested in listening and moving forward. Again today we're just basically going to talk about the school side of things and the FMCSA side of the rules. We won't get into a whole lot of the trucking side, unfortunately, today, but it's something that we're going to talk about. Once a week we'll bring a new episode out. Jesse's going to be making short videos throughout the weeks and posting places, so you'll get some time to get one-on-one with Jesse, and I think that he'll get some things set up on social media so that you can do some Q&A and stuff. So
we're gonna be all over this.
Yeah, so I'll let Jesse start asking some questions, or we'll let him kind of guide us and lead us where he wants us to go today. I appreciate you being on here.
Yeah, no problem, Jeff. Hey, I was thinking before we go on this, how long have you been doing this?
So I've been in the trucking field for 26 years, and I've had a trucking company off and on for the last 15 years. So when I say off and on, it's like 4 years ago we started the CDL School. So when we started the CDL School, one of the outlines for the insurance company was we couldn't have both companies running at the same time. So we kind of had to put a kibosh on the truck side of things for a little bit. Recently, we've switched insurance companies. They've allowed us to be able to keep things separate and focus on both realms again. So that's one thing that we've been getting started on going forward. Hopefully we can get more of our family members involved in helping with that side of the business.
Get things going. So over 26 years, I'm sure you get to see what works and what doesn't. So you think that's helped you putting this all together?
Well, yeah, because I definitely have done the wrong things a lot. I feel like I make mistakes every single day, and one of the things that I've seen over the years, a lot of it's just with changes that happen, because when you deal with this side of the business, you're not only working with federal side of things, right? Sure. The FMCSA has a set of rules, and then so does the state, right? So unfortunately, sometimes both of their rules don't line up. Right. So you got to figure out where your line is and where you want to be, and how you stay fluent on rule changes and adjustments, and stay on top of things. When we started 4 years ago, I got on the FMCSA side, said we wanted to be a school, and when I called the director involved in the state of Kansas at that time, I said, hey, what do? I want to be a school. And he said, ha, good luck, and he hung up.
Wow.
And we didn't get any guidance. And
sure.
The reason was because at that point, there's nothing that he did wrong, but it was in 2022 when we came up with this, there was no guideline. It was kind of like the Wild Wild West. It's like, okay, well, we're going to make everybody go to school starting now. And it's like, all right, well, what do we do?
Right.
Well, I mean, it's very complicated to make adjustments when nobody knows where they want to go, right?
Sure.
The one thing I will say is I've watched a lot of states outside of Kansas, and they may have a little bit more freedom on some reins, but they have more problems. So the one thing that I will say about Kansas is they're very tight. They don't give you a whole lot of room. They control things very well, but it's almost good because they keep you from getting in trouble.
Sure. So
one of the things that I like, sometimes I complain because I'm like, man, I wish we could do this and I wish we could do that, but there's always repercussions. If you do this, then in the end, that might change and cause 3 more problems that you didn't think out up front. So, I think that, so lots of learning and lots of mistakes.
Well, I think it says a lot to your integrity because FMCSA cracked down and they closed 7,000 schools this year. And here you are with a good curriculum. So you got to be feeling pretty good about yourself in that.
Yeah, I'm very excited to still be here. And because not only did they shut down 6,000, 6 or 7,000
over 7,000 schools. Yeah,
but
I looked it up.
there's also, if you look on the FMCSA side,
Yeah.
there's a button that actually says how many schools are still under investigation.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
to not even be on that radar because we shouldn't. I mean, we're doing everything the right way. We're following. Um, it's good, and hopefully, by the end of this year they'll get things cracked down. I know that a lot of the FMCSA rules expire September 28th, so I know that the FMCSA is doing a good job of trying to get some new rules put in place and whatnot. Some of them might be tighter on uh, the schools, which I mean, I think that when you have over 7,000 schools doing things the wrong way, you kind of have to tighten the ship, right? Like I said in the first question you asked me, um, we didn't have we didn't have a roadmap, right? They said good luck and you punted until you figured it out. And it was really nice because we got to build relationships with the DMV, and when we did that, we got to see what they were looking for and what they weren't looking for, and in instances like right now, because we're not a third party tester, we're just a school that takes care of the theory and the behind the wheel in Kansas, right? So when you go to the DMV, uh, you have to do things their way too, right? So
Sure.
it's been a learning experience, um, learning and understanding what they expect from our guys as well. So that's been kind of nice too. But I think that we've done a good job. Obviously, like you said, we're not on the radar. We passed the 7,000 schools,
Pass the
and
purge.
well, I think they did that in 30 days. They canned 7,000 schools in like 30
That's
days.
crazy. Yeah. No, they had that planned out.
Yeah.
Because that kind of leads into this. What do you see missing in traditional CDL training that made you say we need to do this differently?
So I think that one of the missing pieces is still a big deal is treating the students like students instead of tuitionship, right? So listen, before um, 2022, you didn't have to go to a school to get your CDL, right? I mean, I'm just going to tell my story. I got my CDL, I'd say 27, 28 years ago, and I worked for a gentleman. I asked a guy in western Kansas for a job holding water off the oil field, and he said, "Can you drive?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know how, and I don't have a CDL, but I can learn." And he says, "Go get your learner's permit, and I'll teach you." So went to the DMV, grabbed a book, read it that night. At that point, I think a CDL manual was 36 pages. Now it's like 217.
Yeah, that's
I
the
remember
highlighted section.
I go back the next morning. I take my test. I pass my learner's permit. I drive because that was back before phones, right? I drive 100 miles to this guy's place, show him my learner's permit. I was all excited. He's like, "All right, come back in the morning." And he rode around with me for 3, 4, 5 days. They just had me going back and forth until I felt confident. And then he took me to the DMV and took my road test and passed, and I had my CDL. And a lot of people out here in this realm of like we're out here in western Kansas, so this is farming oil field community. I mean, 90% of everyone out here that has their CDL or getting their CDL, they've been around a truck sometime or another, right?
Sure.
Where in these cities, a lot of these guys they've never been around a truck, they've never seen a truck, they don't know, so they're looking for a school. And before 2022, they were still looking for schools, right? So there's a lot of VOTEC schools that have had that CDL program in place for 10, 15 years, right? And for those people, they needed it. Then we've got the big trucking companies that have their own schools. I'm not even going to talk about them.
Right.
But I'm going to go back to these VOTEC schools, okay? Because 15 years ago when they started these VOTEC schools, they had an amazing plan, right? It was, hey, if you think that you can't get it on your own, come to our school. It's a 2-week program or it's a 4-week program, and we're going to teach you how to get your CDL, right? Well, at that time, all you had to have was a learner's permit, and you could go to these schools, right? So they had a good plan. I'm like, all right, well, you can start school in 4 weeks. Make sure that you have your learner's permit before you get here, or you can't show up, right? So when all they had to do was go get their learner's permit on a small book at that time back in the day, uh, it wasn't that big of a deal, right? 90% of those guys had their learner's permit and showed up for their first day of class. Right. And then they went through these classes, and they were really good classes. And I'd say that I could be wrong, but I would say still over 60% of those people that went to those classes were passing because I think they had good instructors, and I think they had good plans, and I think they had good layouts of how they were structuring their classroom, and they were, back then they were probably teaching people how to dolly down and hook up, and I mean, there's a lot more requirements that were set at that point, probably for the school curriculum, right? But it worked really good. Then what happened is in 2022, we decided, all right, now everybody has to go to school, but now you have to have. Let's see, I'm going to use my cheat sheet so I don't forget nothing. You got to make sure that you have a physical, a DOT physical, right?
Right.
Pre-employment drug screen, truckers against traffic as a video and a test you have to take. Got to have all that stuff. Now this is just in Kansas, mind you. I don't know what other states have requirements, but this is what we require in the state of Kansas. So then you got to have an ELDT theory class, right? So you got to do all that stuff, and then you need to get in your CDL manual so that you can study for your written test, right? So there's 5 things that we've added to these people, right? So when they call these same VOTEC schools that have been doing great things for the last 15 years, they call the same nice lady answers the phone. Now she's trying to enroll people for what? 10 different trades, right? I mean, if they have a nursing school or an electric program or whatever, she's trying to enroll all these students for every single program, right?
Right.
So when you're signing up to go to nursing school, you have pay your tuition, you turn your stuff in, and you go to class, right? The first day of class, you do everything you need to do, right? Electrical, same thing, right? You got to, on the first day of class, we're going to sit you down and we're going to, show you everything. This is what you got to have on your first day of school. Make sure you have your books. We'll see you on the first day. Unfortunately, when we added all these things that I just brought up to the CDL side of school, she says, all right, well, we can get you into school in 8 weeks. Make sure that you have everything done. I emailed you a list of everything you have to have before you get here or you can't come. All right, thanks. Have a nice day. Well, she's done her job because that's all she knows. I mean, she doesn't know 25 things about every trade, right?
Right.
All she knows is what she's focused on, and she's focused on enrollment, right? So, unfortunately, a lot of these guys can't talk to the CDL instructor until it's time to start that class because he's running another class, right? They got him busy. He's doing his. So what happens is we have a little bit of a roadblock because now that kid opens that email, he's got all the stuff, and he's like, well, where do I do my theory class? Or where do I get a pre-employment screen? How do I do? And I'm sure that they're giving them links and whatnot, but if these guys have never been around it, it's really tough to get them to do that. And they don't have anybody that can help them get all that stuff done in that 6-week period, right? So one of the things that we focus on is they're still responsible for doing all that stuff before they come here, right?
Sure.
It's just we're helping them. We answer the phone. We show them where to go. We have our own theory class now, right? So that they can get on and take our own theory class. We have our own software so that, they can get on a dashboard and we can see where they're at, If they're working for a company and their boss wants to send them here, we can even get them on our software. Their boss can even be on the software, right?
Yeah, no, you have a company login where they can see all their employees.
And he can see where his employees are, and he can make sure that everyone's doing their homework, right? So that's one of the things that I think the smaller schools or the private schools are doing better than the VOTEC schools right now is that they understand the changes that needed to be made, right? That was one of the reasons I decided I was going to do this 4 years ago, was because I had been on the trucking side of things and I knew what we needed out here to make things more convenient. Because, a lot of these guys, they got families and they're working full time and they need to get their CDL. And they don't have all that time that they can lead into one thing at a time. So, one of the things that we do here is we work around their schedule a little bit, right? We try to make things convenient. We try to make their dashboard convenient so that they can do everything from home, but they still have us if we need help, right?
Any questions? Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I think is missing is I don't feel like a lot of those schools are giving those guys the one-on-ones that they need before they show up. And it's not necessarily their fault. I just think the way that the structure changed in 2022, I just don't feel like they were getting a whole lot of they just didn't make the adjustments on the vote. And I don't know how they would do it because, again, they've done it for so. That nice lady answers the phone. She guides them to the assistants, and then now we have a problem because a lot of those guys don't know what to do, and they need step by step instructions and guidance, and that's one thing that we like to do here. And I know that there's a lot of other schools that I know that are out here and they do the same thing. They help them through the process. But the biggest struggle that I see is the VOTEC schools because they just don't have. They lost that extra step when we added these things to the.
Yeah, and I think it creates better drivers too when they go through the process correctly.
Right.
Because they know what they're doing better than somebody else at the end of the day.
Right.
What has Joaquini taught you about the trucking industry that big schools just don't understand? You kind of mentioned a little bit.
Well, and so it is a little bit different out here, isn't it? I mean, I think that in Western Kansas, trucking isn't just an industry out here. It's the lifeblood. It's the way. If you don't have it, you're going to starve to death, right? I mean, who's hauling corn? Who's hauling grain? Who's taking stuff to the grocery stores? And I know that you're doing all that stuff everywhere, but out here in Western Kansas, it's understood. I mean, everyone sees it out here, you know.
Right.
I mean, it's so flat we can see from one end of the state to the other. So we see these trucks move like, I mean, they're out here. That's how things get moved, and that's how the economy survives. I know a lot of those schools. I've complained about this in the beginning, and it's something that you just asked me a little bit ago. But do you ever make mistakes, or you learn from your mistakes? And this is one thing that I've learned from. I wanted to be able to bring people from out of state in here because this is a closed state. So
Right.
in order to go to our driving school here, right, you have to be a Kansas resident. So sometimes I'm like, man, we should just be able to bring anybody in here. But I don't know that that's necessarily. I think that we have a good community, and I think one of the things that we focus on is we have a lot of companies out here in Western Kansas that we try to pair up jobs with, right? Somebody comes in here and they need a job, we pair them up. We don't want them to leave Kansas and go be over the road truck drivers. There's not that there's anything wrong with that, but this is our lifeblood right here, right? This is what makes us tick out here. And if we all stick together and work together, then I think that that's what grows businesses to the next step. And we don't, if I can be selfish for a minute, we don't want good people leaving Kansas to go work somewhere else when we need them to help build Northwest Kansas. So I think that that's the one thing that Joaquini's taught me is that there's a lot of good stuff going on right here.
Yeah, I watched the whole because I've only been here for a couple of years now, but watched the whole town shut down during the season. I mean, everybody's out out in the field during that time. I mean, it's a big deal. So it is the lifeblood.
And wheat harvest started yesterday, so
yeah,
you're seeing the trucks run right through here right now. So
yeah, it's busy. Why should it? Going into that kind of rolls into the next question. Why should a guy in Texas, Ohio, or California choose JTS over the other online school? Don't get into the online section of it.
So again, we kind of touched about this on the VOTEC side of things, right? So I think that the biggest thing about them is that they're run by tech companies, right? In my opinion, I don't feel like those are trucking guys running those schools. Those are tech companies that built good software and good whatever
Sure.
to make that work so that they could service something that they had a niche in, right? But they don't know the field. They don't understand the field. I feel like one of the things that sticks to my deal is you jump on any ELDT class, even ours, and it's read, click, right? But it's a learning process, right? But what happens when you get hung up? Like, what happens if you have a question?
Right.
I mean, if you look at these, I don't know. I mean, there's very, very few companies out there that have their phone number on there where you can call and ask a guy a question, right? And it might be a question that they should have the answer to, correct? Right? I understand.
Right. Yeah.
But they just want help, right? Shouldn't they be able to call the office or the school and talk to somebody and be like, hey, I feel like I was reading my CDL manual and I had the exact opposite answer than what you have on your deal. Are you wrong or am I wrong? Right? And I know that happens on every single test. Every single student has one of those. Excuse me. But none of them are able to express it because there's no one to talk to, right?
Right.
Well, you go over there in the corner and you hit that box and you type in a question and you wait for the AI guy to irritate you with a response that doesn't even make sense to what you're saying. And then maybe, just maybe, 12 hours later, a real person might send you a text, but by then you're done,
Well,
right?
can I defend our AI just a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I will say that when going through and designing this for the AI component of that side of things, I did gear it directly towards FMCSA ELD regulations. So when you do talk to our AI box, you're getting direct answers from that. What's actually in the program itself. So just so you know.
Well, and the other thing that I like about our program is that we're truckers. We're from the trucking field, so we understand that side of it, right? Which I don't feel like, again, like I said up above, I don't feel like, again, I feel like a lot of those guys are just tech guys.
Oh
and,
yeah.
And I know that you've spent a lot of time getting our AI side of things going, which, you know, hopefully they don't have to use it, right? That's the question. But the other good thing is we have a phone number on it.
Yeah, just call
So
us.
if they want to call us, they can call us. And if it's outside of business hours, leave a message and we'll call you back the next day. But that's one of the things that I like, I guess, about people from out of state. It shouldn't matter. Give us a chance. Use our software because, number one, I feel like it's user friendly. Number two, I think it's built by truckers. And number three, if you have a question, we can answer those questions. We run classes every single day, right? So I mean, that's what we're here for. And I feel like there should be more schools out there doing the exact same thing online. But again, we've dug through a lot of those schools, and very, 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 very few of them have a contact number where you can talk to a real person.
Yeah, I had a great conversation with the guy from Mississippi yesterday.
Right.
Called us on there, and that was his problem. He's like, I can't find a school here locally that I want to talk to.
Right.
So
because they want to do everything online.
They want to do everything online. Yep. So.
And I understand that convenience is, because I mean I just talked about that, right? I think that's one of our biggest pushes is that we've tried to make this as convenient as we can for everybody. But for the instances that aren't there, you still got to be there. You still got to, and I know that there's some good software out there, but you still got to be there still got to answer the phone. And I don't know. I just think that real face-to-face or voice-to-voice just kind of eases people, you know. I mean, getting a CDL, like I said, 28 years ago, I grabbed the book, I brought it home, I took it in the next day, and I got my learner's permit, and I went to work the next day, right?
Right.
So it doesn't work like that now. Number one, once you get your learner's permit, even if you know how to drive in Kansas, you can't test for 14 days. So there's that, right? Then you got to have a DOT physical, a drug screen. You got to have your theory. Then you got to do your trucker's. There's so many other things that have to be done. I mean, and the book is 217 pages. There's a lot to it, and these guys deserve more help than they're getting, in my opinion, because we didn't do that. None of these guys that have had CDLs for more than 15 years can say that they had to put that much work in getting
right.
Because it was
all
a lot easier.
on.
Yeah, it was straight to the point, in and out. And these guys are working, and they want to be better, and they want to get in this field, and a lot. And it's even, imagine in my case, I couldn't imagine doing this not never being around a truck. I had been around a truck before I even got into the trucking deal. Plus, I'm third generation truck driver in my family anyway, so I've been around trucks since I was 4 years old, right?
I'm sure.
So it was nothing new, but there's a lot of people in a lot of states that are like, hey, I think I want to get into this field. I think I like to travel. I think I just want to get out of here and try something different. And they hear a lot of good trucking opportunities out there, so then they want to dive in, right?
Right.
And I think that that's one thing that we're experiencing. We know both sides of things.
We're going to move into this next question, but just a heads up on when you get into our program online and stuff, and you go through the lessons. It's color coordinated. It's got definitions, real world experiences inside there. So when talking about instruction, we're walking somebody through every single lesson, so they don't miss anything.
Right. And guess what? If they have a question, what are you going to do?
Call us.
You're going to answer the phone.
Call us. Why was it vital to offer the full suite, like hazmat, tanker, passenger, right out of the gate? Like, why would you want the whole package?
Well, I think that, in some cases, some of these guys that are coming in here from ground one are taking opportunities where they need doubles and triples, or they need hazmat or something in order to get the job right. So um, we're experienced in the field again, right? So if we're going to do this, we need to do it. Um, you're going to hear me every single week pick on and preach on people that don't answer their phone or don't have phone numbers. And if that offends you, then I'm sorry, because I still think that we want to have good service, right? We want to give, and whatever business you're doing, you want to have good service. You want to care about your people. You want to treat them right. But you gotta be. If they need help, you gotta be able to answer the phone. And if you don't have a phone number, or you got it shut off, so that, like, I understand that a lot of that stuff's inconvenient. Sometimes you're getting a lot of calls that didn't need to happen, right?
Right.
But that's life. That's like, if you really care about people and you're really doing business and you're saying you're putting everybody first, well, then you have to show it. If you don't have a phone number, I really don't know how you're showing people that you care about them, because you're not even giving it. You're like, here, the first thing I need you to do is pay me. Here's the payment.
Right.
Log in. It's
Good luck.
$30. Pay me right now.
Right.
Oh, you don't know? Oh, you need help? I'm sorry. Leave an email. Talk to my AI guy. That really bothers me. You know, you and I have spent the last couple months going over everything and building our software and doing everything together. And one of the things that we focused on was getting away from that, right? And I mean, there's a lot to software. There's a lot to building things and making things convenient. But I really think that it all starts. The first thing shouldn't be pay me. I mean, the first should. If you're going to take someone's money, you should be able to give them your time, right? Because I think that's a lot of it is just there's so many options for schools out there that if you just answer the phone, you'd probably get 10 times more business, just because they heard your heartbeat. You know, they know that you're real. I mean, there's a lot of things are a lot different in 2026 than they were in 1998, right?
Sure.
I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
You can start a business and online whatever in 20 minutes. That doesn't mean that you know, or you're legit, or you have a plan in place. So, you know, one of the things that I think, again, I'm going to go back to the hazmat stuff. These guys come in, right, and they need their CDL, but they don't just need their CDL. They need doubles and triples, and they need hazmat, you know, because they want to work at FedEx.
Right.
FedEx has got good routes, right? If you want to be on the over the road run or whatever, you got to be able to do doubles and triples. So you need that endorsement. And then chances are you're probably going to have hazmat. I don't work at FedEx. I've never worked there, but I'm going to imagine you probably have. So I mean, it's always nice to have all that stuff so that they can do everything right here. They can do all their stuff at one stop.
What was the exact headache you faced running your school that forced you to build your own software?
So obviously, if you get on the TPR side, that's how you enroll your students, right, in general. But all you can put in there is the information on their license, right?
Right.
That's it. Well, then what? Then you can click a button to tell the site that they passed their theory class, or that they passed the behind the wheel training. But that's it. So what are you doing with all that information between the beginning and the end, right? Because you can't put notes in there. You can't write where they're at in the program. You can't write notes that they need to pause out for 30 days because they had an emergency in the family. And you can't do anything. You can't, that, hey, this guy needs to be done in the next 2 months because he needs to start his job, right? Or this guy has already got his learner's permit and it's going to expire in 60 days, so we need to put this guy in front of the line and kind of push him. There's nothing. You can't do any of that with the TPR side. So when I started this 4 years ago, one of the things that I did was, and 4.5 years ago to where they're at now, there wasn't as many companies out there offering CDL School software. And there's one out there that we went with, and they have a really good program. Their software's good. The thing is I just feel like the software should be built for the school, not the software developer. Does that make sense? Right. So every school's different, right? And they even have their own school. They run things A way, but we run things B way, right? So I think that when you build a software that's set up for CDL schools so that they can log their students, put all their information, and run their scheduling,
Right.
allow it so that their employers can see where they're at in the program, right? Like schedule, and there's some good stuff out there, but it's not as convenient for the B way as it is the A way, right? So I feel like if you're going to build a software, it should be built around the school, not the developer. Like, and I might jump ahead a little bit here because our software is built to white label, right? So
Right.
if another school wanted to use our software, we'd be more than glad to let them use it, right? But the good thing is that if they're like, hey, we don't want to do this, we want to do that, we can make that change in what?
Oh yeah, depending on what it is, I can do it the same day.
In the same day, right? But we've been with our place 4.5 years, and when we make a change, I think that hey, we should do this, 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 and this. And don't get me wrong, we've gotten quite a few of those deals, but it's taken a year or 2 years or 3 years to get to that point, right? Which I feel like if you've got listening, if your developers are listening, right? That's the biggest thing is listening. If they're listening to make adjustments, it's not that hard to make adjustments. And we can make adjustments for 20 different schools that have 20 different plans, can't we?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
they don't have to do it just our way, do they? And every software company that's out there, unfortunately, you have to do it their way. Now, does that mean that it's bad and you shouldn't use it? No. I'm just saying that one of the things, one thing that we do is we can build that software that works for you. If you don't want that segment on there, we'll take it out. You can't do that in some cases. And some of the things that we use, I don't like the way they track some stuff. So
Right.
it should, but I don't even want it on there, right? So it should be gone, right? And you got to archive this, or you got to do something. No, you just take it off. Like it's not that hard, And that's one of the things that we've been working on, and I think that people will see as we go forward. The other thing is we can one-click our TPR, right? It's integrated. So, and that was the other thing. 4.5 years ago when I started this, there was only one place that had software that had that button figured out. And now it's not that hard to figure that button out, obviously. I mean, I think we spent more time not figuring it out than figuring it out. We walked in a circle because we thought it was harder than it really was.
Yeah.
And now you're starting to see I think all the software out there now have that integration button figured out because it's not really that big of a deal. It's just, once you realize.
It's just extra coding.
Yeah, right. And I think that, so now almost every school pretty much has that integration button. But 4.5 years ago, there was only one school that had that button figured out. And I think that it was great software. I just feel like, after 4 years, I think the biggest thing for me that was like, okay, we need to do something. And I might be jumping ahead on questions. That's okay.
That's okay. We'll skip the next one. You answered it.
The biggest question, the biggest thing that got me was the white label. Okay.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you're going to pay for somebody's software every single month, you shouldn't have their school's name in the corner of your software when you're sending it to your students. And almost every school software that is available right now is doing that.
Right.
I don't think that that's right. I think that if you're using if you're paying them for the software, then you shouldn't be advertising for that school while you're paying for them too, right? So
I absolutely.
We've had over 250 students come through here and use our software, and it didn't never once have JTS CDL training in the corner. It always had somebody else's name in the corner. Well, I mean, you can really push schools in Kansas when they're not here, right? So, in their defense, they're going to be like, well, we don't have school there, so we don't care. Well, that's great. How are we supposed to get online and push our own theory class for people that just need theory class when you're using your name and you have your own and you're shoving it all over every site on Google for half price. It's really hard for us to do that, right?
Right.
And
You're paying them.
And you're paying them on top of advertising for them, and uh, I just don't think that that's the way you should do things. I think that, and again, if you got anyone out there has a school or business or whatnot or want to run people through theory class, we have our own theory class. It's priced right, it's cheap, it's it's solid, just like everybody. And there's a lot. I think for the most part, wouldn't you say that theory prices are pretty comparable? I'd say that they
I
pretty
think
much
across the board, no matter where you go.
I'd say they're all pretty much set the same. So I think that part's good. The biggest thing that I would say is that if you're a business, a school, um, and you want access to your own stuff, call us, get a hold of us. Um,
Yeah, and we're not doubling our prices just because of it either.
Right,
so
right. And
they're getting a good deal.
Right, and the biggest thing is I think that again it's white label. You won't see our name on your software anywhere. You shouldn't. That's not good business. And I think that um, when you're doing that, for years, after a while, you have to say enough's enough. And so that's something that we've decided. Obviously we've done our own software. We're working through it. It's going, and we're using it. And
Well, and on that, just like I throw this out there, the content that we have inside our software is trade school, college type of content. I mean, you're getting everything you need to get your CDL on the wheel at a college level, but easy to understand. It's not complicated.
right. One and and that's exactly right. Now, again, I want to say there's some good software out there. I just feel like there's a few things missing. Number one, you shouldn't have to have your name all over everybody's site. And number two, answer your phone.
Right.
Put your phone number on there. Be real. Give them a real person to talk to.
Well, there's so much fraud out there too, because now people are just you see all the Facebook ads. A lot of that's not legitimate stuff. And that's with any industry. That's not just CDL.
Well, and I think that the other thing is this might make people change their mind, but I don't care. Competition's good, right?
Sure.
But a lot of banks are shutting those cards. They're canceling that $50 deal because they don't know if it's real.
Right.
And if you don't have a phone number, so then they're having to go somewhere else because they can't call somebody to say, "Hey, we can't get logged into this place."
Right.
So then they end up losing them, right? So while they think they're running through, either we got 300 people, it's like, well, you'd probably do better if you just, because I've had that case a lot lately with my card, is they'll deny it, and then 10 seconds later you'll get a text on your phone saying, "Did you do this?"
Right.
And then,
Right.
so, but when you do that, you wonder, wait a minute, is that a safe site? So then you research it before you do it again, right? And then if you can't call that person and make sure it's real, then guess what? You're going to go somewhere else. And so again, I think that.
Well, our number is on everything that's out there.
Yeah, it should be.
That's out there. So.
And we got a crazy AI. We got a crazy guy that likes to make ads and do whatnot, make crazy jingles. So that's good. They'll have the number memorized before the end of the summer.
That'd be good. If we are sitting here doing this podcast a year from today, what does JTS look like? This is your future.
So we talked about the FMCSA numbers, right?
Right.
So, one of the things that I'd like to see is us to continue to show everyone how convenient our software is, so that in a year, we're at least 10% of the FMCSA numbers are using our software, right? Which, what is it, 35, 36, 37 on average?
Yeah.
1,000 people a month are taking the classes online. So, we just want to get to the point where, we can, I would think that, 10% is a fair number as long as we continue to do what we're doing, which is answer the phone. You're going to hear me say that a lot.
Yeah, answer the phone.
If you answer the phone and you make things convenient, and I think that you're going to get where you want to go. I think that that's the biggest thing I don't know. That might even be a small goal, but I think that's where I'd like to be in a year, to at least have 10% of the traffic for the FMCSA.
Sure. And I think that's a solid goal. I think we have everything going in that direction. So
I agree. I think that hopefully going forward, like, and again, if these guys out here watching, if you own a CDL school and you want to disagree with what we say, call us. Like, get on here. Let's talk. You know, I mean, because we all want to learn as we go through this, and you know, maybe old Jeff from 10 years ago, I smashed competition. Competition's bad.
right.
I don't think that's. I think it takes all of us. And there's so many people that don't want to work anymore, and there's so many roadblocks that I think that it takes all of us to do this, right?
Oh, it absolutely.
So,
is.
in whatever field you're in, whatever trade you're in, I think that if you want to call and complain, or you just want to state your opinion, if you think that we said something wrong, and again, most of this is our opinion, right? But message us. We'll get on here, and you know, with this setup here, we've used this setup for our podcast, for our Christian podcast too. So as you can see, we have our logo here on the back, but we can bring people on here, and obviously we'd have to pull out our headphones and whatnot, but we can bring people onto our podcast from any direction as long as you have a camera at home. You can get on here. So if this is something if you want to be on the podcast and you want to, talk about your field or your business or express anything in the trucking field, then I don't care if you're an insurance agent. I don't care. I mean, if you're an insurance agent and you're focused on the trucking side of things, then you want to get on here and talk about, that side of things, then let's get you on here. Because, basically we just want to get on here. Yeah, obviously we want to grow our business and whatnot, but in order to do that, we're going to have to be able to talk about the whole field. And in my side, I hope after today you can see that I'm passionate about the CDL side of the school, of growing things that way. But I also want you to know that I'm just as passionate about this field on the other side too. We've got trucking company, and again, I'm third generation. We've been doing this a long time, and I've again seen a lot of ups and downs. You talk about how many did you say? 7,000 schools got shut down.
7,000 schools
just this year, and that's not including last year. But so 7,000 schools got shut down. So now, if we flip the script and we go on the other side, which we can do sometime here in the next 3 or 4 weeks, is see how many trucking companies have been shut down this year. For all sorts, non-domicile, all sorts of things. I mean, so I'm excited to see where things go with this podcast, because we have a wide range of ways that we can. I mean, the trucking field is huge. There's a lot of different realms to cover on this side of things, and I'm excited to be able to do that. And again, we've had the Christian podcast. We're getting ready to start season 3. Me and Jeremy and Trav, we got that. So we'll be starting season 3 in August. But I've kind of had a little downtime. I don't know. I've had the itch of sitting over here, so we decided that we needed to get over
staring at the empty desk.
Yeah, staring at this
table
room over here, not collecting dust. So we decided that we'd come over here and push this. But you're going to see Jesse a lot. I do a lot of the training, and I do a lot of driving and whatnot for myself as well. So you won't see so much of me, but you'll see me every week. But you're going to see Jesse's going to be marketing all day long. So he might come up with a 2-minute post and post it on there. Maybe I'm gone for the day, so he gets on here and asks me a couple questions and post it, and I get on and do my own later. So, and again, we want to get as many people in this field involved. I don't care where you're at, what part of the country you're in. Jump in here. We want to grow.
That'd be really cool. Get some.
Yeah, we want to get other people's opinion of things, and again, the software company that we've been using, they have a great operation. They're very experienced on the trucker side of things too. So that's always nice. So I mean, anybody from anywhere wants to get on here and just talk, like, yeah, let's just get on and talk.
Nice. Yeah, I think we covered everything for the intro. I don't have any more questions for you, Jeff. So
That's good. Well, I think we got through this one anyways. We'll see how it goes, and we'll pick a topic for next week. We haven't. Maybe we'll figure out how to lay things out a couple weeks in advance, but like right now, we're just going to kind of go with the flow, see how things go. But just want to thank everybody for watching, and we'll be back next week.
thanks, everybody.